There we go. Oh, how you doing, brother? How you doing today?
Doing all right. What's going on with you?
Oh, good. So I'm gonna say thanks again for for coming to the live. I don't normally do live Insta. That's the first live I'm doing because I thought that what you have to connect. We need to work together and everything like that. So the reason for the live is because I spoke to a lot of our brother and sister after they got their African ancestry DNA, and then they wanted to connect to the continent because we all one person, we all same. So we just wanted to see how we can work together, how I can assist you, and and to be honest, when I was looking at your Instagram, I actually saw that you got so many things there which I didn't know myself. So not only that, you're gonna learn from me, and then I can learn from you as well. In terms of everything. So how are you feeling today?
I'm doing great. Just relaxing. Been waiting to talk to you.
Okay, good. So let's start it. So I'm gonna let you introduce yourself first. Yeah, you can just a quick introduction of yourself.
Okay. Well, my name is Secoya Allen. I carry my mom's last name, but my paternal last name is Cosby. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee, and I've been in the military. I just recently retired with 23 years of service.
Wow.
So I'm currently living in Texas right now, and I'll say for the past 5 years, I just really been learning a lot, about the ancestry and a lot about history and everything. So I just been on that path lately.
Okay, I mean that's amazing. Going with your ancestry. So, what actually made you decide that you want? Because obviously you know that you're African. You don't need to go through the DNA to know that you're African. So by just looking at yourself, you knew that you was African. What was the thing who actually kind of like motivate you to actually go and to your DNA?
Okay. Well, just growing up, blacks in America, we always have that identity issue with, what's our ethnic group or who we are, what do we go by. We went from being called, Negroes to coloreds to black to African American. And, like we're the only race that really don't have a identity, an ethnic group to call ourselves, because we all know that African American is not an ethnicity.
Exactly, that's it.
Right.
I mean, so going back to that, I remember speaking to someone a couple of weeks ago, and then she was telling me that when she used to go in school, when she used to be like in middle school, high school, they used to go on holiday, like on the summer holiday, and then when they're back in school in September again, and they're gonna be the older student will be talking about how they spend their holiday, maybe in their family in Italy. They went to Israel and then as an African American, she didn't have any other country. She knew that she came from Africa, but she couldn't identify what country she came from in Africa. And then that's how she decided that what, I'm gonna find out exactly where I came from. And then luckily from 2003, the African ancestry, they got the process where you can, only by the swab, you can find your paternal lineage or you can find your maternal lineage. And then not only that, you can actually find the tribe. You can actually, and then if you want to, you can even go further and then find your living family over there. I mean, then somebody like, there's a lot of people actually went over. They actually found their living family in the continent as well. So before you decided to go for your DNA ancestry, what do you know about Africa? You've been in Africa before?
I've never been to Africa, but Africans that do come to America,
yeah,
I've always been around Africans.
Okay.
And then even growing up, I grew up with Africans that migrated to America, and they grew up in the same neighborhoods or whatnot. And I always had a misconception that all Africans were Muslims.
Okay.
So we used to always say, instead of calling them Africans, we would always say those Muslims.
Muslim.
Yeah. So.
I've never actually heard that before. So, why? I mean, why does that came to have a conception that Africa was Muslim? Was it because maybe law African you was around? Were they Muslim?
Right, they were Muslims. Yeah. So we used to always just say the Muslims. So we thought all of them were Muslim.
Okay, I see. So, and then last year you decided to go for your African ancestry, and right. What was the result?
Well, first I did the autosomal DNA test, which is your full DNA makeup, all of your ancestors. I've done that, and it was kind of generic, basic. I mean, it was good to know because I saw, my full DNA breakdown, but I knew I was from West Africa. So that wasn't really enough for me. Okay. And when I found out about African ancestry and that they could tell you your actual ethnic group, I was like, man, I got to do this. So, I took the test. I did my maternal test first. Mm-hmm. And it came back that I share maternal genetic ancestry with the Baka people living in southeastern part of Cameroon.
Yeah.
And, so I tried to learn everything I could find on the internet, documentaries on YouTube. And I just kept searching for that information. And, hopefully, probably next year, I want to try to go to Cameroon and, unite, get connected with someone, who's Baka that might speak English or whatnot, or somebody that can translate. But I do want to meet my people.
Sure. I mean, to be honest, when I look at your Instagram, I mean, there was a lot of knowledge. So, your root is the Baka, the Benga Baka, is it? That's the Benga Baka. So, yes. Which is very, very close. I mean, to get more information about the Benga, they're very close to the border, Cameroon and Gabon. So that group, they're actually the same people. Cameroon and Gabon, they share a very, very large border. And then not only the Baka, they got other tribes like the Fang, they speak exactly the same language. So if you look at the Baka in Cameroon and Gabon, they speak the same language, they speak the same culture, they got the same way of living. And you got the Baka with the border with Equatorial Guinea as well, the Baka Island. You got another group of Baka with the South African Republic. And then you got Baka spread all over Africa, all the way to Southern Africa. If you go all the way to Namibia, to Angola, you got a lot of different groups of Baka. So we're going to focus on that. And going back to, you want to go in Cameroon next year. So I spoke to one of the chiefs, but he's not a Baka chief. He's going to try and get a contact with the Baka chief in Cameroon. The thing with the Baka, people that love traveling, it's quite hard for them to stay in the same place for a long time. So in their culture, what happened is that they must spend at least 2 to 4 months in the forest because they're very, very connected to the forest. So everything with a Baka person is in the forest. So when I used to be in Cameroon, growing up in Cameroon, I've never seen, I saw a lot of Baka people, but I've never seen any in the hospital. So when they got anything, they straight go to the forest and then they get the healing from there. Even I'm sure that even coronavirus, anything like that, anything back I get that, they just go straight to the forest. And it's quite hard to get connected. But, and we know how to get over there as well. And then we can... Pardon?
I was gonna say that it's funny that you said that you never seen any Baka in the hospital or anything.
Yeah.
I met another African brother that's in the military, and he saw my Cameroon and Guinea-Bissau flags in my truck, and he was like, "Hey, brother, you from Cameroon?" And I went into the little spiel about my ancestry, and I don't know if I'm saying this right, but he was from the Iwando tribe?
Yeah, Iwando, that's in the central. Actually, the Iwando tribe is not too far to the Baka. I was born in the Ewondo area of Cameroon, but my parents came from the Bamileke side. So I'm kind of between the Bamileke and the Ewondo. So I can speak Ewondo more than I can speak the Bamileke because that's where I grew up. That's where I went to school. That's where I spent most of my life before moving to the UK. So what was
he was telling me about the Baka, and he said that, you know, he was like, if anything is wrong, people would actually try to find Baka if the hospitals couldn't fix it or, you know, whatnot, when someone got sick. So he was very knowledgeable. He was like, the Baka, you know, about their heritage and lineage or whatever, that they, you know, smart people.
Yeah, they're really smart. The Baka, the medicine, they're the best. Traditional medicine, they're the best in Cameroon. I mean, I do remember when I used to be younger, when someone in our family, even if it wasn't Baka, someone in the family had something really serious where, you know, the hospital couldn't do anything. Dad would be driving all the way in the forest to find the Baka. And then, you know, we spend like maybe a week or a month with the person staying with the Baka. When the person is back, everything is perfect. I mean, like a woman who couldn't conceive or anything like that, where the hospital couldn't help them. So they're going to find the healing in the Baka people, and then they got the healing for that. They can do, they know the medicine, they know everything they have to do for the person to conceive. So they're very, very strong in internal medicine. They're very, very strong. And they like moving from one area to one area. And as I told you, I was speaking to one of the Ewondo chief. He's actually Ewondo. And the Baka is not very, very far to the Ewondo tribe. I mean, in terms of language, maybe they can understand a little bit more. So I spoke to him. He's going to find some, because I need to get in touch with the Baka chief. I already got a lot of contact with the Bamileke and the Chika chief as well, just in case, because we got some of the brother, sometimes they want to change their name, they want to have a naming ceremony. So just in case you want to go on that path. So before you travel to Cameroon, we're going to look at the Baka chief who can actually do that for you as well.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So what after your DNA, so what was your impression about Cameroon? You knew anything about Cameroon before your DNA?
Well, I kind of, not before I got into the DNA, but what we notice is when people take the autosomal DNA test for your full makeup, the majority of all African Americans, our DNA is it's all saying the same thing. Cameroon, Congo, Southern Bantu people.
Yeah.
That's going to be the majority in African Americans. And now we're seeing that more and more people that's taking it, they're able to pinpoint closer to where a lot of our ancestors are coming from. Now it went from Cameroon being the majority. Now it's saying Nigeria, which is border, same area.
Exactly, same area, exactly. I mean, the thing about Cameroon, Congo, and Gabon, there used to be at one point before the German came in Cameroon, Congo, even Bauco Island, there used to be one country. In the whole central part of Africa, they used to have two countries. There used to be Cameroon, and then the other side, the Republic Democratic of Congo. So you got the Republic of Congo, you got the Gabon, you got Central African Republic, and Equatorial Guinea. They used to be all part of Cameroon before. Even one part of Nigeria, which is in the English-speaking part of Cameroon, used to be part of Cameroon as well. So what happened in 1961? They had a referendum. They asked you if you want to join Cameroon, you can go on that side. You want to be part of Nigeria. So in the northern part of Cameroon, they decided to join Nigeria, and on the southern part of Cameroon, they decided to stay with Cameroon. And that's why we got in Cameroon today, we got 10 different regions, and then we got 2 regions who speak English, and then 8 regions speak French. And the region who speak English, they got 2 tribes over there. They got the Bamileke tribe, and then the other part is the Chika tribe. And what happened is that when the Chika, they moved from Sudan, to Cameroon, there was one people with the Bamileke. So the brother went and traded the English-speaking part, which is one part of the Chika next to Nigeria, and one of the other sisters went and traded the Bamileke area. So they kind of like cousin, Chika, Bamileke, all that, So I'm actually doing like a PDF about the Chika, about the Baka, everything. When it's going to be ready, I'm going to send it to you, and then you can have a look at it as well.
Okay.
So what else do you know about the Baka?
Well, I know we were using the term pygmy. Yes. And there's a lot of people that say the term pygmy is a derogatory term or whatnot. But if you're doing any research and any studying, that's what you're going to see.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I mean, yeah. Personally, I don't use the term pygmy because the term pygmy is related to the size, because they said that the Baka is very, very short people. I mean, to be honest, traveling between Cameroon, because when I used to be in Cameroon, I did a lot of traveling between Cameroon to Gabon. And then all the way on the road, what you see is a Baka camp, and because they're the people that like living by the side of the road. And then after that, they got to leave the forest for a couple of times and back again at the side of the road. So I saw a lot of Baka, and they're not really as small as people say. It could be something like a couple of years ago, but it's not really that. So that's why I don't use the term pygmy. So I use Baka, which is actually the name of the tribe. Yeah.
But I was gonna say, like, some people would say they're not called pygmies, they're called Twa. And as I've done more research and learning, Twa is a different group of so-called pygmies. There's three I guess we'll say classifications.
Yeah.
It was the Mbinga, the Mbudi, and the Twa. So the Twa are totally separate. Even though they may be at once all started the one people, but today there's three groups. So I learned that the Twa are the ones that's living closer to East Africa.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the one living like in Tanzania, and they go all the way to Namibia as well. So there's about 6 to 7 countries. And then you got the Bubi, the Congo, the Republic Democratic of Congo. And then you got a large group of, they don't call it Baka over there, like you say. The Baka is mainly for central, the western pygmy, what they call western pygmy or whatever. That's the Benga. So that's the Baka. And then you got the southern one, which is the one going all the way to South Africa, to Namibia. And then when you look at the thing is that you can actually easily recognize a Baka. Like if you look at the Democratic Republic of Congo, the Congo Republic, the majority, I'll probably say about maybe 95%, they're all Baka. And one of the most popular Baka was the president of Gabon, Omar Bongo. He was Baka as well. Because the thing with the Baka as well, they don't actually get into further education because they're semi-sedentary mode. They have to travel all the time. And again, which wasn't really fair, because when they used to get involved with other people, they used to be picked on by the SARS, like in the school, people used to pick them, or they used to call them names and all that. So which means that they kind of like remove themselves, and then they just live in their life.
Yeah, that's one thing that saddens me, knowing that I come from this group of people, and then when I watch a lot of documentaries and news articles and reports about the Baka, all the trials and tribulations that they go through, today, and even though I have Bantu blood,
exactly.
I also have that Benga, that that blood too. So they're all my people, but I just hope things get better, with the Bantu tribes and the.
It's true because to be honest, not only in Cameroon, in Congo, and I mean all the countries where they got the Baka, the government has not been very fair to them because something they're actually facing at the moment is that they're actually cutting all the trees, and then it's quite hard for them to have to go back to the forest and then do what they've been doing for over 400,000 years because that's what they know. And the Baka in Cameroon or in Congo or any other African country, they're just like the American Indian. They're the first people in Cameroon. They're the first people in the whole area, and then they love living in the forest. They like, being in contact with the forest. They got their god, which is called the Jengi. That's the Baka god in the forest. So they got to connect to that god all the time. So that's what they have to. Doesn't matter if they live by the side of the road, they got to go back in the forest, spend about 2 months, connect to the god, and then back again. And then when some Baka person die, they have to leave the area because they think that the curse of that person can affect them. So they have to completely move from the area and move to the different area. And then again, they live like in different groups. They may be the same family, but they live in a different group. So they move as a group. That's how they live. And as I was saying, the government in all the country where you got the Baka, they're not being very, very fair. And I definitely hope that, it's going to change. There's long organization campaigning for that at the moment. They're trying to keep the forest so they can have something to go back and then get the healing and everything. And I do hope that, it's going to change. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's similar to the Native Americans, how they had their culture and this and that. Now, America done modernized and everything. So, it's kind of the same, trying to preserve their heritage.
Yeah. So your next DNA was the Balanta people. So what do you know about the Balanta people?
The Balanta is a little bit more complex when trying to find information on them.
Yeah.
The main thing that I know about the Balanta is around the 14th or 15th century is when they migrated from East Africa, the Nile Valley, Sudan. So when I think about them, I know that they carry a Bantu Y chromosome. Or whatever, because it's my Y chromosome, and it's Bantu. But the Bantus that migrated from Cameroon and went east and then south mixed with those Nilotes.
Between Cameroon and Nigeria, that's where they started, and then they just spread all over the place. Yeah,
so they mixed with those people in Sudan, Kenya, a lot of those East African people, which would have been considered Nilotic people.
Yeah,
and then when they migrated and went west, so now today the Balanta people, are living in Guinea-Bissau, but their history, would have came from East Africa. So, I learned that, the Balanta also are on the bottom of things when it comes to the economics in Guinea-Bissau. And, the other tribes around, you have the Mandinka, the Jola people, the Fula people. It's a couple of other, there's more tribes or whatnot, but as far as the ones in the African ancestry community that we're seeing is mostly, the Jola, the Mandinka, the Fula, and so the Balanta, they got their name from the Mandinka.
Okay.
I guess there was a point in history where the Mandinka were fighting against the Balanta, trying to conquer, certain tribes, and the Balanta resisted. So the term Balanta actually means those who resist.
Wow.
And So, we've been trying to learn a lot about the Balanta, and that's why I was showing one of the brothers who came back with the results from the Balanta. He actually wrote a book.
Okay.
And he's actually traveled to Guinea-Bissau. He's met with the people. He has connections for us, so we're in talks with a lot of the people in the Balanta tribe. And, we did some books, which it's a book for the children to, kind of preserve their language.
Like learning the language, the Balanta language as well. Okay.
Yeah, because most of Balanta, they're speaking Portuguese.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So they're not even really speaking their native language.
No. So I mean, the difference with the Baka people in Cameroon, I'll probably say 98% doesn't speak French. The only thing they speak is the Baka, because, like I said, they don't get into education. They believe that they have to be connected to the forest, they have to be moving around. So for that, they don't. And then again, the government doesn't actually provide, because even where they actually live, they can actually bring education to them over there, but the government doesn't actually do any effort to do. And then there's some organization actually, there's actually one British music group, I think they call it G-Band Baka. Is composed of two white British musicians. So they actually travel to Cameroon all the time. They record songs with the Baka people. They're very good. They're yodeling with their mouth. They're making songs with their mouth. That's something they're actually good on. So that group, they travel to Cameroon. They record music. And then all the benefit from that, they're helping the Baka people for that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to send the link for that group as well. So they do a lot for the Baka. I mean, they're trying to raise awareness for what's going on for the Baka people. And again, if you look at the whole Cameroon or the whole Congo, you're not going to find a Baka person who represent them, like a mayor or anything like that. And then that's why it's a lot bit even harder for them. So that group, what they're doing, they're pushing the Baka to try and get further education, to try and be, to represent their own people. And I think there's quite a lot now actually getting into education as well. I've got a few documentary which I'm going to send you. The thing is that most of them is in French, so I'm going to try and traduce it, and then I'm going to send it to you. Anything you find in English, if you need any help to traduce it, you got my number, just call me, and then I'll do that for you. I won't be able to do the Portuguese though, but anything in French, I'll be able to translate for you as well. Yeah. So okay. So when you get in Cameroon, what will be the first thing you wanted to do? What will be your first thing when you get over there?
Well, of course, I wanna see a lot of the tourist attractions, the sites. I want to see the country, and the food. I want to experience the different cultures, meet the people. I want to be amongst the people, I don't want it to be, when I go to Africa, I don't want, regardless of any country where I go, I want to be amongst the people. I don't want to be, and this is no shot at any other country in Africa, but like if you go to Kenya or go to South Africa, it's just like being in the United States.
Exactly, just like exactly. So what you want to do, you want to kind of like experience your culture, the culture from your tribe. You want to be any possibility, maybe living there for maybe 1, 2, 3 days, and then see how they live. I mean, speaking.
And it's not just my tribe. Not just my tribe. I love culture. Period. So I'm for anything.
Yeah. So what we actually looking to do is to kind of like organize, making sure that if you travel to Africa, like you say, we can look at maybe a place where you can live with a family, and then you can see the way of living. You can learn from there. You can see how things goes. And not only in Cameroon as well, we're thinking of doing that in the States as well, in America, where we can organize maybe one time a month. We can be cooking food from this tribe or that tribe, and then you can maybe learn, maybe you and your wife, You can come over. You can learn how to cook maybe the Balkan food, the Bamileke food, or a thing like that. So we're looking at to do a lot of things like that for the next time. Which going to make it more easy for anyone who doesn't want to travel maybe because they're not ready to travel, or if you want to travel, then you can have a structure back home where you can be with the family. You can spend a couple of days. You learn how the family do, or if you want to spend a day or two in the Baka forest, we can assign you with some Baka, and then they can look after you. And then trust me, you'll be safe. In terms of medicine, you're gonna be completely safe. Because they're the best crowd. So anything else you want to know about Cameroon, about the tribe, about the people?
Yeah. Well, like I say, I've done a lot of reading, watching videos, research. I talk to, like I said before, in the military, there's a lot of Africans from Liberia, especially Liberia. There's so many Liberians in the United States Army, Ghana, So I'm really moved by this time period that we're in. That we're starting to connect with each other. More interaction, learning, social media. Got us like I say, Instagram. I would say Instagram is where I've met the most Africans. Just doing the DNA and sharing posts and people reaching out to me and conversing back and forth. So I just like this whole time period we're in right now.
Yeah, I think it's quite important because obviously I understand that if we born the continent, I mean we the same people, us born the continent, we have to acknowledge that our brothers they made an effort to find us, so we need to make sure that we can welcome you guys. It doesn't take anything. Just say that what we appreciate, we acknowledge what you're doing. How can we help? Because I mean I was on the chat with on the African ancestry, and then someone asked a question because they approached one of the African group, and then they was told that there was an African, and I think that that's not what we want. That's all. It doesn't matter. You don't need to be born in the continent, and the minute you call you're black. It doesn't matter if you're born in the Caribbean, it doesn't matter if you're born in Brazil, it doesn't matter if you're born wherever you're born. If you're black, you don't need a DNA. You know that you're African. Now, if you want to find out more, then you can go through the DNA to now identify what country you came from. And then it's just fair that we have to be there, open, hand open, saying that, what, brother, thanks for looking after us. And then